Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In the last video, have I have shown you how to create a API version using structure in Laravel. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to separate API version between API version 1 and 2. And this is my demo. You're gonna see two API version have the different URL. And in the end of this video, you could generate your own API version 1, 2, 3, etc. Let's get started. The first thing you're gonna do is separate your controller. Here is the controller. I have v1 is the controller of API version 1 and v2 is the API version 2. In the rules, we have rules API. We have separate API prefix with v1 and v2. So and the different controller is controller v1 and v2. So in the config file of the structure, I have modified something here. Documentation of v1 and v2, and I think you need forgot in the documentation field is v1 and v2. Here is I have defined the URL for API version 1 and the doc of that version, and the path, the documentation. This is the file you store your API documentation in your project. And the most important is annotation. You will guide the structure to check the version of your API in the controller, which controller is corresponding with v1 and what controller corresponding with v2. It is the main difference. And the URL, you need to remember that this URL, and you will typing in the browser to show the API version. And another thing is the documentation. In API version 1, I have add the info task a version 1 and title is to-do list API version 1 is corresponding with here to-do list API version 1 and to-do API version 2 is we generate this title. Here is it. And the main difference of this demo is API version 1 I just have two field, title and content, and in the API version 2 I have add additional field. That's a priority. So when in the same server, you can separate API version 1 and 2 in the same source code. So it's make you more easy to maintain the project. So in the API version 1, I have called the to-do repository interface. This is I apply repository interface pattern, and in the repository I also create v1 and v2. Yeah. And the main difference between controller v1 and v2 is API. The part of your API is the URL of the rules you have defined in the web or in the API. Here is the prefix of the API. In v2 controller, you need to define the path API /v2 to do store, and in the v1 controller API version 1 and to do store. That's the main difference between version 1 and version 2 controller. When you need to regenerate the document of version 1 API, you need to run following command php. So I'm running in Docker, so I need to execute inside the Docker. So Docker execute t the following command to generate the documentation for API version 1 is php addition l5 swatcher generate version 1. This is have regenerated the API version 1 for your API. The following command will show you how to generate API version 2 for your API, and just change the v version 1 to version 2, and here it is. And you can refresh your API version to see what happened. So I will run a simple API. Here it is. When you execute in the API version, we need a field is priority, and in the version 1 you just need to fill this title and content. Execute. Yes, cool. That's it. I have commit this source code in my GitHub repository. So if you want to generate a new version for your API, you can go to config file, config f5 swatcher, and then just do for the following same as my source code, and you can generate several versions for your API. If you have any question, comment below and subscribe for my channel.